Hi, I'm Kyle Randolph. I'm a product manager here at JumpCloud. Welcome to our tutorial video series.
In this video, we're going to be going through the Windows BitLocker policy. First, I'll show you how to remotely enable BitLocker on a JumpCloud managed system. Then, I'll go through the encrypting process and finally show you the recovery key or numerical password captured from that system. And then I'll go ahead and segue to another system and I'll show you the capturing of the recovery key or numerical password on a machine that's already encrypted. Now to begin, I've got a couple of things set up here. I have my Windows 10 Pro system that we can see checking in here in the JumpCloud platform, PC Cadillac. Which brings me to the second piece that I have, which is the JumpCloud admin portal, which is where we're going to be going through configuring and applying our BitLocker policy. And finally, not shown in this VM itself, but I do have another snapshot. You'll see PC Mastodon. PC Mastodon is the machine that I have already encrypted that I'll be applying the BitLocker policy to. Let's begin. So as I mentioned, first we're going to be doing the policy enablement and enforcement against our PC Cadillac. As I look here in the details aside, I can see that the volume is not encrypted, and we've got our JumpCloud managed user bound Jack Cadillac. To be able to enforce BitLocker on this machine, we have a couple of options. We can choose to create a new policy, BitLocker full disk encryption, and then select the systems or groups of systems. Or in my case, I already have this policy set up, so I'm just going to segue over to the existing BitLocker policy. Now, as I mentioned, you can choose to apply BitLocker to a single system directly in the Systems tab, which is what I'm going to do here. Or I could choose to do it to a group of systems. And really what this allows you to do is more easily apply the policy against a larger number of systems. In this case, I'm just going to be working with a couple of machines. So I'll select that system and save policy. And we'll go ahead and just continue over to our virtual machine to watch this policy take effect. Now, one important thing to note here for the policy is that we do require TPM 2.0 or greater to be installed or present on the system. You can see our other list of prerequisites on the JumpCloud BitLocker policy KB that we have linked below. And in this case, on this machine, we'll know that BitLocker has been enabled or is set on the machine when the user receives a notification noting that they need to complete the BitLocker enablement process. So let's go ahead and just give the agent a minute to check in and apply that on the machine, and then we'll continue. All right, so the policy's been applied to the system. We can see that the user is driven to complete the BitLocker enablement process by restarting the system. And further, if we now continue back over into our policy section and we go to status, we'll see that we have PC-Cadillac that's in this kind of pending or interim state. And you can see as we look at the details here that BitLocker is not protected, encryption's been enabled, and the encryption will begin on the next boot. So we know that we're now waiting on the user on the machine to restart in order to continue with the enablement enforcement process. So let's go back over to our virtual machine and restart now. Now that we've rebooted the system and are now signed back in, we can see a couple of things. If I do a quick search for BitLocker, we can see that our drive is now encrypting. And further, if we head back over to the JumpCloud admin portal and we look at the status for our PC-Cadillac, and now we can see throughout this process that we have the encryption in progress, which is noted here in our message, as well as on the system. Now, in order to get the numerical password or recovery key from the volume, we do need to allow this system to finish encrypting. So I'm just going to open up PowerShell. And we'll take a look at that state here. And we'll give that a little bit of time to complete the encryption process and then continue on our way. One important thing to note here is we actually defer to AES 256 as our encryption method. And also in light of the recent security vulnerabilities with hardware encryption, we do err on the side of using software encryption to ensure that both your spinning disk and solid state drives are properly encrypted and secure. All right, and now that we've let our volume finish encrypting, let's go ahead and segue back over to the JumpCloud admin portal. And we'll go ahead and just refresh this page. And let's take a look at status. So now we can see for PC-Cadillac, policy successfully applied and has completed the encryption process. And now that we've given the system a moment to check in and see that it has been fully encrypted, we can see that we now have the recovery key stored for this user, which we can actually verify this key by going back over to our system. Let's just open up PowerShell. And here we see that same numerical password from the system. So you now have that available and visible to you in the JumpCloud admin portal. So in the event that the system is not compliant and you need to decrypt it, you have that personal or numerical password available to you here directly in the JumpCloud admin portal. And as a note, you can see this in a couple of locations. One, just off the policy or the BitLocker policy. And in addition to that, we can see here, if I go and look up that system, just right here in the system details, we have a view key option. And when selected, that surfaces the numerical password or recovery key for that Windows machine. And so that's the process for enabling BitLocker and getting that encryption key off the system once the volume has been completely encrypted. But let's also take a look at the other case, which is what if you already have BitLocker enabled on your system and you want JumpCloud to capture that recovery key? Let's go ahead and jump on over to our other system here. Cool. And now, as we look over at our JumpCloud platform, we should see our other PC, Macedon, checking in. We can also see that the encryption state is already encrypted, so this machine has BitLocker enabled. And what we're going to do in this case is we're just going to apply the BitLocker policy on that system. So I'm going to navigate over to our existing BitLocker policy, the same one we used to enable BitLocker for PC-Cadillac, and we're going to do that for PC-Macedon, which already has that BitLocker policy, or already has BitLocker rather, enabled. So I'm going to save the policy, and in this case, we're going to give that agent up to a minute to check in, get that policy update, and get the numerical password and send that back over to JumpCloud. So let's just go ahead, hold off just a minute for the system to check in, and then we'll see that reflected here in the platform momentarily. All right, now that we've given that system a couple minutes to check in, let's take a look at our policy and status. So we can see this PC-Mastodon or Alex Mastodon system has successfully applied the policy. And then if we move over to our system section, we can now see our numerical password for the machine. Nice thing is on this side, there's really no prompt or extra work that the user needs to do on the machine. We're just able to come in and get the numerical password or recovery key and surface that in the JumpCloud platform. So if we were to do a similar command to what I showed you earlier, we can see that the numerical password that we have in JumpCloud matches up with what we see on the system. So to recap, we went through enabling BitLocker on a unencrypted system using the BitLocker policy and capturing that recovery key or numerical password in JumpCloud, as well as applying the policy to a system that already was enabled for BitLocker and also capturing that numerical password to show you in the JumpCloud platform. Thank you.
Thanks for watching. If you'd like to learn more about this topic, please navigate to support.jumpcloud.com. If you'd like to reach out to someone directly, you can email us at info@jumpcloud.com. And finally, if you'd like to stay current with our upcoming videos, click subscribe.